microphone over here. Clearly, I'm like not prepared today, and I just decided to go on and messy. And okay, child not coming in. It's checking. So one of the things we're doing is obviously putting my office back together. My office doubles as our guest bedroom. We had some family in town last week, so I need to put that back together. So once we get started kind of with the body doubling portion of the stream, that's going to be the first thing I do. Like I said, it's unpolished today because I'm having a day. And honestly, I can't go into the details of why I'm really upset today. I mean, it's been a week. We got home Saturday from 4 days of camping, which was great, but I was in charge and it was exhausting. We had 9 kids, 5 adults. Yeah. One of the families had never been camping before. The other family had not been camping with their kids before, so it was all new. And I got home and Sunday morning woke up in a huge autoimmune flare. It's been interesting because I've been doing this autoimmune protocol diet and supplements and things under the direction of a functional medicine doctor for about, I want to say 5 weeks now. I don't know, lost track. Apparently I've been feeling better. I didn't realize it because that flare took me down. I was in bed all day Sunday, and then of course the news about beloved Captain Corey. If you don't know who that is, you need to check out 2 channels, Crack in the Box, Kraken, the box, and the Crap Goth here on YouTube. And Corey's just an incredibly inspiring young man who unfortunately came to the end of his fight on this earth with congenital heart defects and multiple heart transplants that failed. And that little boy and his joy got me through some really, really difficult months in the past year. So, we're all in the community mourning that loss. But that hit me. And then we've had some difficulty with just teenager stuff and some tough parenting conversations. And this morning got some really unfortunate news that is hitting me in a different way as it affects my our safe spaces with our little family. Plans I had made in a place that I thought anyway, we're not going to be able to do something and go somewhere that I had counted on with people who I know are on my team, but who are also they have limited capacity in what change they can affect in a certain situation. As a result, we're not going to be able to go on a trip that I had planned on that my kids really love, and it hurt in a way I haven't felt in a while. For about a year when we lost our baseball community in a similar fashion. Thanks for being here, Equality. The notifications are a mess, but just me and you right now. I also imagine, since I've been kind of inactive for the last couple weeks, that YouTube isn't loving that so much. But this has been a hard day. And honestly, what I want to do is, hi, Shimo. It's okay. this kind of a last minute thing. I didn't put up like a thing ahead of time to let people know, because I just decided that this is what I needed. As I was saying, normally on a day like this, my coping strategy would be comfort food and laying in bed, being distracted by something on a screen. But I was out of town for a week, and we have some big things happening in the business over the next couple of weeks. New employees and changing over computer systems and things like that. I'm just kind of overloaded with work, on top of just being really emotional with what's going on with my kids, and it being that time of summer where the overwhelm and stress of us not having routines and all of the summer things, my kids being really dysregulated, is just kind of weighing on me. And I'm trying to make different choices about how I cope with that. Number one, because all the comfort foods that I want are not approved on my autoimmune diet right now, and I can't afford to have to start over with all the progress that I've made so far. And I don't want to deal with the flare up that would come if I literally that right now in bed want potatoes. I did get some of these, which are my current only comfort food snack. If you want potato chips but are trying to be a little healthier version or can't have potatoes for some reason, these particular plantain chips, these lime ones, are quite delightful. So that's what but if I eat too much, I get a stomachache. So I have to be careful. What I really want is ice cream and chocolate brownies and sugar. Donuts. I want sugar. And I have not had sugar in 5 weeks. No added sugar, no added sweeteners, even honey, nothing. So yeah, I can't have sugar right now, which is what I desperately want. And so I decided instead, because I have so much work to do and I can't afford to lay in my bed for the rest of the afternoon, I have until 3:30 my time. So that's an hour and 20 minutes from now to get some work done. I'll have more time tonight and I will be back here. And if nobody else is streaming or anything, maybe I'll put it back on and keep going while I work. But yeah, I needed some assistance to get some stuff done today. So this is going to be kind of a co-working stream. Obviously, we can chat a bit while we do it. The first thing I need to do is put my office back together, because I can't even sit in my chair right, because this office is not big enough and this couch is in the way. So I'm going to do that. Shima, this, no sugar and no Diet Coke, and my kids are out of school. Okay? It's not nice. And I asked last week, okay, so when am I going to be able to have just an occasional treat? And my doctor was like, we'll start adding in other sweeteners like monk fruit in the next few weeks. I have to test a few other foods first, and I haven't been able to do that because eggs failed, unfortunately. Yeah, indulgent sweets, he said, maybe 5 months. So, no end in sight for that. So I got my trusty giant stickered Stanley. This guy is my favorite. He's from a children's clothing company called Rags. It used to be Rags to Rach's. My baby boy used to have a little romper that had this guy on it. His name is Trini, and I just think he's adorable and crazy in all the best ways. Got my alma mater here, though my sticker's fading. All things Hawaii. This is my one that I've gotten stickers on. Sea turtles. and Momentum Climbing Gym, which is a climbing gym that has taken our family in the most amazing ways. That's what I got on my, but it got my water with a couple of drops of citrus fresh essential oils in there, so it needs at least more power. I'm not a water fan. I'm supposed to drink 85 ounces of water a day, and let's just say I haven't hit that yet. So yeah, the sugar thing right now on days like this where I'm feeling emotional. That was kind of my go-to. Obviously not a good habit, so it's good to break it, but I came here instead. So you guys get to be my new sugar high. Shima, I would absolutely love that. I have 3 Stanleys. I got a new one. I used to just have 2, but these are the version 1. So the old version doesn't have the like silicone thing in the straw and on the handle. And they made them lighter in the version 2. I live in Utah, and what's so funny about the Stanley thing, like making the rounds on LawTube and stuff, is so Stanley itself is not a Utah brand, but the 40-ounce quencher, which is the big mug, they were going to a local like influencer group called the Buy Guy. What's funny is I used to have a PO box and I just canceled it yesterday, so I was thinking eventually I would need to set one up for this channel, but wasn't thinking that there would be an immediate need for that. But if you send me a DM on Instagram or Twitter, I can give you a place to send it. That would be very, very sweet. And I might cry. Don't make me emotional today, you guys. I can't handle it. Anyway, what was I saying? The Stanleys. So there's a local like Utah Instagram. It's called the Buy Guide. It's if you look up the Buy Guide, it will take you something different unless you're on Instagram. If you look the Buy Guide on Instagram. So they had recommended, they just recommend products basically. They had recommended the 40-ounce Stanley Quencher, and the Utah moms went crazy for it. But then Stanley announced that they were going to discontinue the 40-ounce quencher because it wasn't selling, I guess. So the Buy Guide reached out to Stanley directly and asked if they could basically buy into the 40-ounce quencher. And so I don't know exactly how that whole thing worked, but they basically were like, we'll order a bulk and just sell it to our people, basically. But so they did that and kind of saved the 40-ounce Stanley and started kind of doing the like influencer thing. And like with the limited edition colors and seasonal things, and this was a couple of summers ago, and it went crazy. And so Stanley has, of course, now like taken on that model quite a bit with the 40-ounce quenchers. They sell out every time they release a new color. And the Buy Guide is kind of still connected with the 40-ounce quenchers. But every mom in Salt Lake or Utah County, at the very least, has at least one Stanley. And then apparently it spread. It got to the point where like, so Target did like a limited edition with a few different colors, and it was sold out in stores in Utah like immediately. And people have like there's like a market for it on like Facebook Marketplace and things where people are selling them for like double to get certain colors and certain limited edition ones. And the Target ones sold out immediately because people just cleared the shelves to resell them. And then like I saw a gal in a Facebook group I was in for Utah moms in my area who had driven to California and gone to a couple of Targets there and wiped out their shelves so that she could resell them here. It's nuts. So yeah, when I saw Emily D. Baker with her Stanley. Anyway, it was really funny to have those worlds collide. But yeah, this is an OG Stanley. The 2.0s came out last fall. And I have bought a bunch of them, but for gifts. So I was keeping one for myself and I ended up giving it to somebody that I needed a gift for. So I did a few for some teacher gifts for a few really influential people in the last year who, yeah, have changed lives and gone way above and beyond for my kids. And then family members and close friends. So, but I did when they released the new purple one. So they had the lilac one a few weeks ago or I don't know, a couple months ago. And I really wanted it because purple is my favorite color. But I am more of like a royal purple, like this color purple, than like more of a pastel lilac color. So I like hesitated. And then when I finally decided, yeah, I'm going to order it, it was all sold out. So when they released the newer purple one last week, I had to order it. I haven't opened it out of the box yet, though, because I'm on a little bit of a spending freeze due to some changes we're making in the business. And I didn't want my husband to see that I had another Stanley. So it's staying in a box under the bed for a little while until I'm brave enough to get it out. See, I have a Yeti too. I have a 32-ounce Yeti. And so I waited a really long time to get the Stanley because I was like, it can't be that much better. Like, it's just a cup and it's expensive. And I finally bit the bullet one day. They had like a sale or a coupon or something through the buy guide. So I was like, fine, I'll get one because it's 40 ounces. My other one's only 30 ounces. I got it kind of at the beginning of last year. I don't know. I was trying to drink more water. So I got a bigger one. And I got to tell you, it is way better than my Yeti. We spend a lot of time out at like skate parks in the summer, and like right now it's like 99 degrees today, I think. Maybe not yet, maybe later in the week. Yesterday it was 95. So my minivan parked out in the sun at the skate park. You can imagine how hot it gets inside the car. So, and being myself with ADHD, oftentimes I leave my things in the car. I left this guy, had some ice in it, but not like a ton of ice, in the cup holder of my minivan out in the sun for like 3 hours. And I came back in the car and it still had ice in it. My Yeti was still in a similar circumstance, was still cool. Like it wasn't hot yet, but there was no ice left and it definitely wasn't cold. And this baby still had ice in it. And so from that moment, I was like, oh, okay. It actually is better. The only drawback to it was it can be a little tippy when it's full, and it didn't have the little thing that held the straw. So it would tip over and either the straw would fall out or it would just start dumping out of there. But they saw, and it's kind of heavy, which makes it a little tippier. But those are the three things that they addressed with the 2.0. So I'm very excited to try it because the straw doesn't fall out and it keeps it from leaking when it tips over, and it's lighter. So I don't think it'll tip as much. But I have the problem where like I'm coming in the house, right? And my hands are full of stuff and I have it like this. And without fail, at least once a day, I bend over to pick something up, right? And tip spilling. It's a little better now that I only have water in it and not Diet Coke all the time. I used to have one with water and one with Diet Coke, and I can tell you which one I drank more often. Yeah, Prime Day. I haven't gone over to look yet, although there are some things that I need for the office, which I can put on the business card. So there's at least that. But cash flow in the business is a little bit of an issue right now, which is just what happens when you're growing. We're hiring some new clinicians. And so, keeping up with payroll, and we're about 50% insurance based. We don't take all of the local insurance. We just take kind of a few of the major ones. And so, but a lot of people cash pay just because the services that we offer aren't provided elsewhere or are on a 2-year wait list. So people are willing to cash pay. And I wish that wasn't the case. But there's just certain insurance that we can't take because it doesn't reimburse us enough to stay open as a very small business. Larger corporate clinics, like part of larger systems, can afford to take all of the insurance and take the loss on the insurance that does not reimburse very much. And I'm not even talking about like Medicaid. I'm talking about like a few major private insurance and work-sponsored insurance companies that they just don't reimburse enough. Pause. Hold on. Sorry, kiddo needed me for a second. I am forcing him to go right now in the heat of the day and spend some time outside. I know I was talking about something, but it probably wasn't interesting and it definitely wasn't important. That's where my brain is. Anyway, sorry. I hope that wasn't super loud on the mic. I'm forcing him to go spend some time outside moving in the heat of the day for at least 30 minutes because he has marching band pre-camp next week and then band camp the 2 weeks after that in August in Utah. Hottest month of the year. It's likely to be 95 to 105 degrees Fahrenheit while he's there. And band camp, pre-camp is 4 hours, 3 days of the week. And then band camp is 12 hours, Monday through Friday for 2 weeks, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So their marching band director sends out multiple emails saying these kids need to get outside. They need to be acclimated to the heat before band camp because if they haven't been out in it until band camp, we're going to have a lot of kids with heat stroke. So he is being sent out to ride his bike or take a walk for at least 30 minutes in this. Right now it's 2:30 almost here, and it is hot, hot, hot. Yeah, it's so funny because I remember my high school did not have a marching band. We barely had like a pep band. It had like 8 people in it. Our school had a music program, but it was choir primarily. There was a small band or orchestra, but like they would borrow kids from the choir who played privately instruments privately for concerts because they didn't have enough kids to have any reasonable sound in the band or orchestra. But we had like 300 kids in the senior a cappella choir, and in order to do a cappella choir, you had to do junior choir. So, that was another 300 kid choir. So choir was big at our school, but not band. So I just remember all the like football players who would complain about Hell Week, where they had 2-a-day practices. They had like 2-hour practices that they would do first thing in the morning when it was cooler and then later in the evening when it was cooler. And everyone would be like, oh, they're so tough. They work so hard. And then my kids started marching band last year. And I was like, those football players are wusses. They aren't allowed to do 2-a-days anymore in our state. Like because they were saying it was too intense, or they're not allowed to do that anymore. These kids are out for 12 hours a day for 2 weeks straight in the hottest part of the year. They get about half of their 10-minute competition marching program blocked and choreographed during those 2 weeks. It's really amazing what they can do. His marching band has 225 kids in it this year. And there's been a band in our state that has taken first place in every single thing, every competition, first place in all of the subcategories for about more than 30 years. And last fall at the BOA Regional, our high school took one of the caption awards for visuals, and the entire stadium, this was a regional competition, so it was high schools from all over Utah, Idaho, Colorado, We had a few from California, Nevada, I think a couple from New Mexico and Idaho, like really big Bands of America competition. Everyone there, except for this one high school, erupted. It was like such a beautiful moment. And last year they only had 195 kids, and the other high school had 220. And this year we have 225. So we're very excited to see what happens. It is a great group of kids and a wonderful place for kids who don't fit in boxes. It has been such an incredible gift to my son in high school, and taken a lot of pressure off. In our area, the high school is enormous. There's 3,000 kids in the high school, and that is in just grades 10 through 12. So the ninth graders are in the middle school, which is 7th, 8th, 9th grade. And then they have 2.5 middle schools that feed into the high school for 10th grade. But kids can do the high school sports in 9th grade, because not all high schools in our district, and certainly most high schools in the state, start in 9th grade. Our district is split about 50-50, depending on the numbers and the how much capacity they have in the different buildings and all of that. But so last year he was a 9th grader, but he was still at the middle school where he'd been for the last 2 years. But he was able to participate in the high school marching band. And the middle school and the high school are essentially on the same campus. They're separated by like a big soccer field. So he would just walk over to the high school. But what's so great about it is we all know how difficult transitions can be for kids with ADHD. And my kids also have various but significant anxiety disorders. So those transitions are made even more difficult by the anxiety component. But he spent all last year at the high school in the marching band. He's got a bunch of friends that are upperclassmen from the marching band, from his section, and they traveled, they're on the bus when they have competitions on Saturdays, which is pretty much every Saturday from the end of September through the first part of November. They're together for 12 plus hours. Their call time will be at, depending on how far they have to travel for the competition. There's one competition that's a few hours away that they have to, their call time at the school is 7 a.m. and they don't get home till almost midnight. They're on the bus, they're eating meals together, they're practicing, they're so united. So now he's going to walk into this enormous high school. I mean, the high school's bigger than my college was. I think my high school had maybe like 900 kids in 9th through 12th. I'm sure it was more than that. It was probably like 1,500. But still, this high school was twice that size with just 3 grades. My college, it was a small liberal arts college in Hawaii. It had about 2,500 students. It's enormous. So many kids, huge school, but he knows where all the classrooms are. He knows how to navigate the building. He already knows a teacher that he's going to have 2 classes with, because he's doing both jazz band and symphonic band and then marching band after school. So he'll have something band related twice a day in the fall. Symphonic band and jazz band are on opposite days, so that helps him. But he plays a different instrument in the marching band, so he's taking 2 instruments to school. Like, that's where his people are. So he's not nervous at all to start high school. It's such a blessing. And I know a lot of marching band kids, even if they are 9 through 12 school, like the marching band started practice for the fall season in May, before the end of last year started, actually mid-April. They had 6 weeks of once a week band practice before they even got to summer. Then in June, they have twice a week practices in the mornings. Then they have about 3 weeks off before pre-camp and camp. By the time school starts, they've all been together most of the summer. And they've been at the school, in and out of the school. They go in, they do things in the cafeteria. They're eating lunch there. They're in the band. Like they're all over the school, breaking up into sections to work on their parts. By the time those kids walk into that school and school starts, they've already been there. It's no big deal. Now, for a lot of kids, starting high school is not a big deal. But for kids with neurodevelopmental disabilities, with anxiety, with social anxiety, those transitions can be really scary and very triggering. So yeah, that's my sports in general can be great, but traditional sports don't always work for these kids, and we learned that the hard way with a lot of heartbreak over the years. And again, I don't want to talk about that today because I'm already right on the edge emotionally. And if I talk about what happened to my oldest a little bit, but primarily my middle son in traditional sports, let's just say I'm not over it. He's moved on a lot better than I have. I'm still very hurt and very angry and still working through that in my own therapy. So, as is he, but he has done a much better job of putting that behind him. Kids are so much more resilient than we are. All right, we've been going for 40 minutes. I have 1 hour. So I am going to, first of all, I'm going to pull up a playlist that an album, I guess, that I'm going to listen today because it helps me when I'm emotional. I'll put the link in the chat if you want to listen to my same playlist. I'll also put on some background music here. And I'm going to take about 10, 15 minutes. Hopefully that's all it will take to put my office back together and get organized with my work. And then we'll check in. So if you've got work to do, here's how I'd like to work these co-working body doubling streams. I'll announce what I'm going to work on. I will be as specific as I can. Obviously, a lot of my work is highly confidential, so I can't share that, and we'll need to mute my microphone for a portion of it. Especially if I have to make calls, which I sometimes do, because I'm pretty much running all of the behind-the-scenes stuff with the office, including receptionist stuff, and I have a lot of voicemails that I need to listen to from our being out of town. But I am going to put on some music. I'm going to announce what I'm going to work on. I'd love for you to put in the chat what you're working on or what you plan to work on for the next, let's start with a 20-minute work block. Hoping to extend those longer in the future. But what do you need to work on for the next 20 minutes? Put it in the chat. It will help you to organize it, and having someone to hold you accountable will work for 20 minutes. And then we'll pause, take a little break, and come back together and see how we did. See what we got done, share our accomplishments, share what didn't work or what we got distracted by, and we should share some tips on how to handle those stumbling blocks, those roadblocks that might be getting in your way. So let's start a 20-minute work block. Let me get my so as I put playlists together, I would like you to see, you will soon recognize I have a very eclectic taste in music, and I'm very open to suggestions. So if you have songs that help you to work, if you have albums that help you to work, if you just have music you think I should be introduced to, I would love for you to put that in the chat and or send me a DM. I'm going to be putting together co-working playlists that I can share. Right now they're going to be on Apple Music. I may do Spotify as well in the future, but right now I'm just doing Apple Music. So the album I'm going to be listening to, let's see if I can share, copy link. This is one of my very, very favorite albums. It's the very first Ani DeFranco album that I was introduced to. She became my neck and neck favorite in high school with Aerosmith. Again, like I said, very eclectic music tastes. Those are my two favorite all-time life favorite bands, but this one just had some difficulties in a couple of periods in high school, and this was one that I put on repeat in my car with a little cassette adapter and my Discman in my old it was a Chevy. I keep wanting to say Bronco, but it's not a Bronco. It's a little Chevy SUV, and I can't think of it right now. But I inherited it from my grandfather, who passed away. And I played this album on repeat. So since I'm feeling a little down today, I'm going to pop this one on. Oh, yeah. My car had a cassette player. You had to have the little adapter thing you would put into the car cassette player, and then you hook it into your Discman so you could play CDs in the car if it didn't have a CD player. I didn't have a car that had a CD player until after I was married. Maybe a car I had for a few months at the end of college, a little Island beater car that I bought for $1,000 in Hawaii, and it died. But all right, so that's what I'm going to be listening to. If you don't want to listen to that, I will put on. I'll try and change it periodically because it gets a little obnoxious, the background music that I have right now. I am going to get some additional tracks, but right now I just have this one. So let's see. Does this? I wish this would let me do a playlist, and maybe I just haven't figured that out. Oh, that's not what I want. We're going to start here. I'm going to mute my mic. Is that? Oh, there we go. I'm going to mute my mic, and you can listen to this, or you can listen to whatever, and I'll see you all in 20 minutes to check back in. Okay, we're back. I think that was 20 minutes. I forgot to send a timer, so I just stopped at 3. So, how do we do? Hey, have fun in class, quality. Well, see you later. Thanks for being here and keeping me company. As you can see, my mood is already better. Getting a little something done and having people who I just love this community. No matter how many of us are here, it feels good to be with people who get it. So, thanks for being here and welcome, Cap. You came in towards the end of our 20-minute work session. So, how'd you do? As you can see, I got my office put back together. Oh, where did Charlotte go? I'm gonna call her. Where's the remote? There it is. Charlotte, come. See if she comes. Got to see her for a bit. She's getting huge. She's awesome. One day of auto payments done, a load of clothes in the washer. Hey, laundry is the bane of my existence, so well done. Now set yourself a timer or an alarm for when you need to go change it over the dryer. Because that's the hardest part for me. I end up re-washing loads and loads and loads because I forget to put them in. I wouldn't say it's the hardest part. It is a difficult part because then there's also folding and putting away. But getting it from the washing machine to the dryer, it's always difficult for me. So set yourself an alarm. Got that put together. I am needing to get a little bit more organized rather than just carrying around paper to-do lists and my to-do lists that I keep in my iPad. I need to use a paper planner for a little while. I've been using a planner on my iPad and that's great, but it hasn't been working as effectively for me last little bit. And I have, folding was that exactly. This is why I have a laundry service. It helped enormously, but there are certain things I don't send to the laundry service. And then I end up with like 4 baskets of stuff over weeks that just keep accumulating that need to be folded and put away eventually. So hate that part. It's just so boring. Anyway, I'm trying to consolidate my to-do lists and where I keep my notes. Because I'm struggling and trying to give myself some time blocking, plan out my work blocks because I'm been flying by the seat of my pants and that's not working for me anymore. Kid left my office door open, so hold please. Charlotte, is she down here? Here's the door. We'll open the door so she can come down. She can sit with you guys. I just need her to be by us so she's not roaming the house. Thank you. Okay. Had to do a kid and puppy check real quick. That's so nice. 1 hour time blocks are great. We started with 20 minutes today because that's where I am today. So I'm trying to build some momentum and figuring out how that's going to work on stream. And I don't know, I feel like an hour is a long time for it to be dead until I can figure out a better playlist option at least. So yeah, starting with 20, we'll work our way up. See how it goes. I like checking back in. So I've got 25 minutes. So we're going to talk for a few more. And then, sorry, my brain just got distracted because I was thinking about how I'm going to get my son back when he does not have his phone. There's a reason why we got him a phone, but then when you have to take the phone away because things aren't, because that's the appropriate natural consequence for certain behavior, it makes my life more difficult. I know he hates it, but man, I don't love it either. Anywho, I forgot to tell him when he left that he needed to be back at 3:30 for climbing, but we'll figure that out. So I'm going to take this next break to organize my to-do list, because if I just start doing things, I end up jumping around too much and not getting any one task done. And I got too much to do right now to go about it in a haphazard and unorganized way. So I got to get a little organized. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm setting this planner up, but I will show you what I've got. So this is the plan I'm going to start. I'm going to try right now primarily for work, but because it's summer, it's going to be kind of combined with family stuff too. She just actually released her New Year's worth of planners. So if you're looking for a new planner, I really like these Rad and Happy planners. I have a few different varieties. This is actually the teacher planner. And I just like it because I find this, every planner that she does, she gives it enough structure, but also enough freedom that you can personalize it the way you want. So I've used some of her planners in the past in various ways. I have a smaller version. This is an older one. I'll show you the layout of this. Is the kind of more traditional planner. I just need more room for my blocks, and I like the way it's structured. And then what I'm going to do is take my different colors and divide up my blocks for each individual day, as opposed to having, in this one, I can really only set like a few different sections, and I need to be able to just structure things a little bit more. So I'm going to use this one. I also have had both her dated and undated planners. I'm sure I have a few of her other ones down here because I go through planners. I order a lot of planners and test a lot of planners because I do some executive function coaching. And not every planner works for every person. So I like to give coaching clients options and be able to kind of show them the differences between different planners kind of in person. So this is one that I also like. It's just a little big and bulky and heavy for me, and I don't know, it just wasn't working, and so I just need to change things up a little bit, and I will probably come back to this. This is a gal on Instagram named Jordan Page, the Page Co., and this is her productivity planner. She has a boot camp that kind of goes with you. I think she ships internationally, but I'm not 100% sure, so try it. radandhappy.com. She also has this digital coloring subscription that I absolutely love. That's the other thing I love about her planners, is she puts in these really cute coloring pages scattered throughout, and they're really great when you have that doodle thing, which, ADHD. Trying to see if I have. They're just really fun little coloring pages scattered throughout the planner, and I like them a lot. So I haven't used one of her planners that I don't like. It's just I need something slightly different right now for my purposes. They also lay really flat, which is beautiful. So you don't have that, that's one of the problems I have with the coil on this one, on the productivity. But I do love her boot camp and her structure for time blocking. It's just, I don't know, I'm having a hard time using it right now, so I'm trying something else. But I prefer to buy, for that reason, undated planners. Because this planner I've had for 3 years, and I really have only used about, I guess I've gotten through about more than half of this one. This is the one I've used the most. So yeah. But they're undated. So if you stop using it for a while, or you get out of the habit of using it, you're not punished, or you have no reason to feel bad about yourself, because you can just turn the page and put in whatever this week's date is at the top and just move forward. So you don't have unused chunks of planners to make you feel guilty about spending money on planners and not using it. Anybody else ever had that problem with a planner? So that's another thing I really like about Ad and Happy. She has dated planners and undated versions. I just prefer to get an undated version for myself. Another planner / journal that I've really liked has been the Heroes Journal. Kind of gamifies it a little bit. This is one I have been using with a teenage coaching client. This is more of a journal. They did just launch a Kickstarter for more of a planner, but I do kind of use this as a planner / journal. I just put a to-do list on this side, but it has space for gratitude, end of day reflection, but not like massive amounts of space. So it's okay to just like write one sentence. This one is really great if you have a specific goal that you're trying to accomplish, because it is designed as like a 90-day goal setting sort of journal. Really fun. This is the wizard version. Like I said, I order a lot of planners. They have a legend. So this one's kind of more like a Harry Potter sort of thing. This Legends of Astoria is more kind of like D&D traditional. This one is more like Star Warsy. But they're very fun. And then they have these little side quest decks that are designed by people with ADHD for people with ADHD. So, kids yelling. Hold on. And yes, colored pens. These are my personal favorite. But I also have all the Sharpies in fine point and the thick one. I also really like these for my planners in particular. I have them in a couple of varieties. These are the friction erasable pens. But yes, color coding is very important and keeps me interested in using my planner because I like different colors. But yes, all the pens. Yeah, I have all my planners down here because when I'm doing consults with coaching clients, parents, or executive function coaching, I keep them all down here so that I can show them. And I don't have them all down here. I'm missing a few. I just kind of grabbed one of each. Also notebooks. I found these at TJ Maxx, I think, or Marshall's, one of those places. I just thought they were so cute for gifts, and I bought like 6 of them, but I haven't given them away because I like them too much. I like this type of. I have a couple of these that you just get like at Michael's in the dollar bins or Target, and I stick that on my fridge. I also have 2 entire file boxes full of blank composition notebooks because those were like my go-to for a long time. I would have like a different notebook for every kind of project, which is why I transitioned that to GoodNotes on here. So I have different notebooks in here, and I still use that primarily for that. It's just the planner of it isn't really working. Yeah, display planners essentially is what I have. Perpetual planners. I can relate on unused planners. Outdated ones sit on my desk as scratch pad inks. Watching Bug Squad. Yes. I do really like an undated planner for that reason, because either I periodically need to switch planners, switch up the systems, because so one of the things about ADHD is novelty is what we need, right? We also need consistency, but sometimes those two things play against each other. So while I need the consistency of using a system, sometimes if I stick with the same system for too long, it becomes boring for my brain and I stop doing it. So hold on, my kids are fighting. I'm sorry. I will continue this 1 second. This is the problem with my kids being home and trying to do this during the day. But my youngest, all his sensory needs, the minute we walk in the house, he is down to his underwear and he's like barging in here to tell me something. And I'm like desperately trying to keep him from walking into camera's view. But this is another struggle. Anyway, planners. I have to sometimes just like restart a system. For me, there's like key times that I do that, definitely right when the school year starts. I give myself a little bit of time to like nap and regroup and get my brain like recovered from my kids being home all year and not having that routine. And then I need to get myself into routines. And so that's when I will start a new system, typically. Also beginning of the year, because everything falls apart in December. And then again, kind of as school's going to get out, I put together a new system for our family for whatever our current needs are at that time, so to provide some structure for my kids through the summer. So that is one main reason why I prefer an undated planner, is because I may need to just switch planners based on what my current needs are. Right now, I need a big one. I need it to be hardcover. I have digital versions. Actually, I have digital versions of all of the Heroes journals as well. I bought kind of their whole suite for the office so that we could try them out and look at them with clients. So I have one that I'm kind of testing out for myself, but most of them right now are primarily for that purpose. But I got the digital versions as well because it works for me on my iPad. But I have to be able to switch between systems depending on what I need. And I don't like to have, if I get out of the habit of using a planner, picking up a planner and seeing this much time when I wasn't being productive, glaring me in the face, and these empty, unused pages that I can't use because they're dated and that date has passed. Now, obviously, you can cross out the date and keep using the thing, but as people with ADHD, we kind of grew up with this, like, with a lot of failure, right? And a lot of shame for that failure and a lot of guilt for all of that failure. And getting a lot of negative feedback. And so we develop really bad self-talk. It doesn't help us. It doesn't serve us. And so anytime we can eliminate something that might trigger that kind of shame, negative self-talk spiral, I think it's a good thing. For me, a lot of that was around laundry, which is why I ended up hiring a laundry service and taking away the opportunity for that negative self-talk of, why can't I just keep on top of this? Which I talk a little bit more about my experience and my story of coming to grips with my ADHD through my diagnosis and kind of reevaluating things in my past as a result of that in my last, not live stream, recorded video called My Story, if you haven't had a chance to watch that. There's a lot of that in there, but again, themes I'll talk about a lot. But I've had a lot of planners that I don't want to get back out because I feel shame about the fact that that's the last time I picked it up. These undated ones, I don't look back. I don't look to see when the last time I used it was. I just pick it up and move forward. And if I need to skip a couple of pages so that part's not glaring in my face, but I just stick a new tab on it for where I am. I have all kinds of things that I use to help organize my planners. These are things that, again, a lot of these came from Rad and Happy. I love these affirmation stickers. I don't give up on myself. I'm good at this. I'm a rock star. I'm amazing. I'm brave. I'm capable. I don't give up on myself. I think I said that a few times. Good reminders. She does have another one that has all of the special holidays, National Popcorn Day or whatever. Obviously, those are US based. Oh, some of them are international that I put on our family calendar upstairs. But I have all kinds of stickers that make it easy to use, appointment call by like things to jazz it up and get my attention in my planner, and lots of various. Some of these came in, she used to have like a subscription box. And I never had the subscription, but she was like clearing out warehouse stuff and selling all the like extras that she had. So not all of these are currently available, but she does have a lot of great planner stickers. But you know, if she doesn't ship internationally, there are a lot of these on Amazon. There's digital versions, digital sticker packs, digital planner packs if you prefer to use an iPad or a digital version of a planner. I just sometimes need pen to paper. Even Apple Pencil to iPad doesn't always do the trick. Sugar and Sloth products. I'm going to look them up right now. I'm going to pull up a tab. Okay, opening that up to look at later. I have to open up a tab now or I'll forget about it. Or I have to write it in my dump book. But opening up a tab is usually more effective, which is why I have so many windows and so many tabs open. I just love. And so bullet journaling, that's a really good question. I think it can be really effective. It can also, you can also get kind of distracted in the making it cute part of bullet journaling. Sometimes I've seen that happen. It's something I want to look more into. I'll say that. I haven't totally fully tried it yet. My husband has for a while. He really enjoys that style of planner. For me, getting it set up was a little bit too overwhelming for my executive functions as far as like having an index page and page numbering and things like that. Like it overwhelmed me when I first looked at it, but I do want to revisit it at some point soon because I think it would be a useful tool. Even if I don't prefer to use it in the long run, I think it could be really useful for some of my clients. So, yeah, too much to set up. That was a problem that I had with it. So I sometimes, that's why I have so many different options of planners. I like that it's flexible and that you could just change the way you are using it for whatever your needs are at any time. That is great because I need that. I need to be able to shift systems depending on what I need at the time and what's going to help me stay organized depending on what's going on in my life at the moment. Because for me, that has not been consistent at all for a very long time. I'm hoping it will become more so. But I live in a lot of chaos. I have 3 kids with ADHD. I have ADHD. They are all periodically going through different mental health concerns at different times. Things move in and out of my life very quickly. Extracurriculars for them can be tricky to, although we're less so that way because none of them are doing like season-based sports anymore, except for a marching band. So most of the stuff is kind of consistent, at least through the school year. Summer is just a mess of chaos and crazy. Yeah, this. I definitely am a person who kind of, I could do it for a few weeks, but not long term. I've taken some things from it and add it to my current planner. And yes, that. And that's one thing that I like about Rad and Happy's planners in particular is there is a lot of room for that. She has kind of dot pages that you can kind of, if there's something from bullet journaling or from another planner that you want to put in. She always has a lot of kind of like extra notes pages and blank usable. So like this is a teacher's planner. This is meant to be like for keeping grades or attendance or something, right? But it's not labeled that way. It's just a page of grid. So I can use this. However, for me, I will probably use it more for like habit tracking or, tasks that I need to do on a regular basis, like a weekly or daily things, that like work tasks. So, but there's a lot of kind of these, blank grid pages where you can put in kind of whatever you want. It's got enough structure that it can be used just as it is, but also enough open space that you can customize it the way you need. So I like that about her planners in particular. I know there are others that are like that. This is just one that I've used for a few years because I found her on social media, and there's some different people, and I just like her style. I also just really like her like aesthetics. The covers are always kind of simple but still fun, but black and white so that it's not too distracting. And I don't love all the styles that a lot of people come up with. They just don't seem to suit me very well. Picking a cover and can be tricky for me, and she doesn't have too many options. She has like 2 cover options. It's like you can get the undated or the dated. You can get big or small. You have the teacher edition, we have a monthly edition, and a weekly edition. And that's it. Fewer decisions. I didn't buy any this year because I still have a few blank ones. So, although I wanted to because she changed the layout slightly and I really like the way it looks, but I didn't. Yeah, shipping is just always an issue. But yeah, I do think her prices are really reasonable, especially for like a solo. She does everything herself. Her husband runs her website, but like sole business owner. I like supporting small businesses as a small business owner myself. But I'll keep looking. I'll put that on my dump list here of planner companies that are like Rad and Happy that have kind of similar. I mean, a lot of what she has done, she's kind of invented on her own and makes it very unique. But I'm sure there are other planners out there that would be great as well. And I will look in UK, Canada, and Australia in particular, because I know that we have people here who are in those places. So I'll add that to my list. I can't guarantee it will come anytime soon, but I do have planned on my list of content. Once my kids are back in school, I'm going to be able to do a lot more of the things that I have planned. Until then, it's going to be a little random. But I want to do planner review videos. For the same reason kind of I've been talking about here, and what I do with clients is you've got to find something that works for you, and the same thing isn't going to work for everyone. So I'd like to kind of talk about what I like and don't like about a lot of the different planners that I have reviewed, and some that I have in the queue to review. I have several digital planners lined up that I haven't had a chance to really go through and try, but that I have in the queue to do that with. So, all right, I have to wrap up because I got to get my kids to their climbing class. I will be back working this evening, and I don't know if anybody has anything going on to keep me distracted here on YouTube tonight. If not, I may hop back on later this evening and just see if anybody wants to continue hanging out and helping me get some work done. But sometimes I get distracted by talking to you and then don't get my stuff done. So I need to set timers and alarms and be better organized. Story of my life. But thank you all for being here and for helping me to shift my mood a little bit. It's been a tough morning and a tough week, and I feel better. So appreciate you all being here for my own selfish purposes, and hopefully found something helpful in this last little hour and a half. I appreciate this community so very much. I am hoping we will grow. So if you know of anybody who you think would like to be here, would find this beneficial, I would love for you to share. And do all those YouTube-y things. Promote the channel however fits you best on social media or sending a link to a friend. Anything helps. YouTube did a wonderful thing and reduced the number of subscribers you have to have for monetization. So that's encouraging for me because I was looking at that 1,000 number feeling overwhelmed. My Instagram handle is at Nicole Miles Coaching, NicoleMiles Coaching, CoACHING. I have not been super active there as of late because, again, summer, but it's all in the plans. I got to survive the next 5 weeks till my kids go back to school, and then that's that. I'm glad you guys got some stuff done. Papers graded, finished editing things. That's the goal here. I got my office put back together so I can get more done tonight. It's hard for last night. I tried during Runkle's stream and ended up sitting on the little bed back there, and it's just too cozy. So I needed to get it put away and have my workspace set up for me. So thanks for being here, and I will see you all soon. I'm going to run the outro, and then hopefully see you all very soon. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. This video is not a substitute for counseling, psychotherapy, medical, or mental health care. The information and advice shared here should not be used in place of any form of diagnosis, treatment, or therapy. Information provided here does not involve diagnosis or treatment of medical or mental or psychological disorders. If you feel the need for professional support, please seek a local professional in your area. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already,